About thyroid and low libido, and this goes for females as well as males. And frankly, I don't treat a lot of males, but almost everyone that comes in here has low libido. And it's a pretty straightforward shot as far as why that occurs. If we go back to thyroid, we go back to Hashimoto's, most of the time it's hypothyroid that has been caused by an immune attack on the thyroid. So hypothyroid means everything slows down. Your thyroid hormones have receptor sites, in other words, where they hook into the cells in every single one of the trillions of cells that we have in our body. Now, if you came to me, and again, it's mostly females, but if a female came to me and said, you know, I have all kinds of menstrual problems, I have periods that are off, I have periods that are gone, that shouldn't be gone, I have heavy bleeding, low bleeding, cramping, no cramping. Oh, and by the way, I also have a dry vagina and I have no libido. That's usually how it works. People don't usually come in here specifically for no libido. And if somebody, or if a guy said this, it's a little different. But the bottom line is, with either one of them, you would be looking to see why their testosterone in a guy or why their estrogen in a woman isn't working. In a woman, it's usually gut problems. It's usually liver problems. Usually gallbladder problems, because estrogen needs to be used, whether it's made by your body or whether you're taking a hormone replacement therapy. It needs to be used. It needs to be effective. Then the residue needs to go through the liver, gallbladder, through the intestines, and into the toilet. That doesn't happen. You're going to have high estrogen, and believe it or not, high estrogen causes the same problems as low estrogen. Without me getting into that whole thing at this point in time, it's about the estrogen. It's also about blood sugar. It's also about stress. It's also about essential fatty acids. All of these work together to make your brain tell your adrenal glands or tell your ovaries to make the estrogen that you need, and then process it properly and get it into the toilet, detox you and get it in the toilet. If you have a hypothyroid, that's not going to happen. Now, thyroid does have kind of a straight shot relationship to progesterone, as far as and prolactin, and as far as having a baby and fertility and stuff like that. But in the end, all of those things I just talked about are going to slow down. Your liver is going to start slowing down, and you're not going to be able to get the estrogen through it as much. And you can tell by looking on your labs whether your liver enzymes are up or not. A lot of the times you can look at that. You can look on your labs, and if you're the one who has the high cholesterol and you have the high LDLs, and you have low good HDLs, low good fat, then people go, well, you need a statin drug, you need to stop eating, junk and everything. You go like I'm on the autoimmune paleo diet. I don't need any of that stuff. How could that be? It's usually the thyroid is slowing everything down, so you're not processing your fats. We're also not clearing estrogen. And then that can, and if your gallbladder is going down, you're not clearing your essential fatty acids, which I just said was important to make those hormones. And if you're not making your cholesterol, if the cholesterol is getting stuck there, then it may not be available to make your hormones. So it's that, okay? That's how it works with a female. A guy's a little different. In a guy, it basically alters physiology. For men, usually it's that they start putting on weight, usually because they have intestinal problems, they have bacteria, or that will start altering their insulin responses. They'll start putting on weight, and when they start putting on weight, their fat cells start turning their testosterone into estrogen. The guy starts becoming a woman. He starts crying at Lifetime movies, and he starts getting real emotional when he shouldn't be getting emotional. He's putting on weight, and then that lowers the testosterone. But in the end, the hypothyroid slows down a lot of the processes in the body that allows that to happen. The fit guy that comes in here is going to be less likely to have his thyroid affecting his erectile dysfunction than the female is going to be to have a direct hit on all of her female hormones. But it can be a player in the guy. It is if someone comes in here, they're a female, they have all those symptoms, they've come in there for that. I don't even look at their female hormonal panel until we get all that cleared up and I check their thyroid. And I would say 70% of the time, and I always say this, you always hear me say this, I had one in here, I talked to the other day, if you're watching, she's a nursing patient in Florida. If you're watching, and she announced when I talked to her, she says, I got my period. It's been like 3.5 years, I haven't had my period. She's a nurse, and she's like, I'm so happy. I'm like, because she's 47. A lot of people aren't happy when they get their period back at 47. But we didn't do anything for estrogen. We worked with all the other areas of her physiology. That dampened the immune response against her thyroid. Thyroid starts working right, boom, everything works. So that's how the thyroid works with that. So yeah. So thyroid has a lot to do with low libido, because low libido is estrogen. You don't have the right estrogen, whether it's low or whether it's high. Estrogen, if it's high, if you have too much estrogen, it's kind of like having too much sugar trying to hit your cells. The cells eventually stop opening for the estrogen, and then you get the same symptoms as though you had no estrogen, because it's not going into the cell. Okay, so high, low estrogen, it's caused by all that. That causes low libido. That's how it works. So for all you who are interested in that, that's the mechanism, and it's fun. It's fun to do, because usually by that time the person's on a bunch of medications, and they've been told they're in early menopause if they're 43, and they're told that they need to go see a counselor or get a new husband or something like that, and it's your gut and your liver and it's your gallbladder, and it's all things that aren't working because you have Hashimoto's. So there you go. So okay, hope that was interesting, and we'll come up with another relevant topic for our next presentation. See you then.